All right, hi everyone.
Hello.
Happy Saturday. We're back for week 2. Thank you for watching last week. If you did watch, that was week 1 of our new little Saturday talk.
Should have a name for it.
I named it Coffee and Convo.
Oh, okay. Coffee and Convo.
With Cody and Cayt. It's a lot of C's.
Alliteration.
It's a little bit of a late start today because my second coffee. Slept in a little bit. The morning's been going fast. Got some work done, walked the dogs, and now here we are. So, a good friend, my friend Steph, asked last week commented on the last video. And if you didn't watch the last video, I mentioned how split squats are my favorite movement right now because they just crush my glutes. And that is new for me in the last probably year or so. I have been doing them for about 5 years consistently. I had sprinkled them in before, but I would say about 5 years consistently. And not until recently, it was always my quads. And I still enjoyed them, but now my saying for like 2 days after, I'll bend over and just go, oh, my glutes. And I love it. I absolutely love it. So the question was to just go a little bit deeper into what has changed. And I'm not quite a nerd, so I will explain it in the way that I think it has really, not necessarily changed, but what has developed over the years. First of all, I have been doing them consistently now. So I think prior to this time, they were always just sprinkled in. Former powerlifter, and I was a big, just like bilateral movements, not a lot of unilateral stuff. And if I would do split squats, lunges, reverse lunge, I never did a single leg RDL, but anything unilateral like that, it was very just sprinkled in. There was no purpose really with it. It was not a loaded movement in the sense of like for strength. It would maybe be finished with X amount of walking lunges or something. It was never purposefully to be strong with them. So I don't think I necessarily trained them with much intention until Cody and I met in 2020. And I think one of the first, he did have me doing single leg RDLs and I hated them because I could not, it was the balance at first.
Couldn't access your hips.
Couldn't access my hips. I was twisty, turny all over. I could not. Yeah. And so that one, I was basically like, I don't like these. I'm not doing them.
She told me no.
So I didn't.
I said, fine.
Yeah. So I wasn't good at those for a long time either. And now they're also one of my favorites. But split squat was one he had me try with a barbell. Had never done that before. And did them consistently with him for, I don't know how long, but a good amount in a block. And got up to 135 with him, I think for like a heavy single. Not pretty, not great, but I was really pushing doing them with a good load, and strength was the focus there. So I think just, first of all, training them consistently and intentionally and working on loading it was one.
Through a range of motion too.
Yeah, through good range of motion, not half reps, or that's another thing. I would probably do even a lunge or any kind of movement like this, maybe lower my knee some, but now it's to the ground, deep range, full range of motion with any movement like this.
Well, you get stretch on your glutes. Your glute actually, you have a lot of hip bend, in the very bottom, and so that your glute actually stretches.
Yeah, actually getting it into that point rather than cutting it short and then using more of the quad and whatnot to get through the movement. So I think from that, training the unilateral movements consistently and intentionally has built strength in a unilateral way. So any weaknesses were exposed and then able to strengthen. So I think for me, it was always my left side could not keep up. And that to me was kind of frustrating and part of the reason I didn't want to train unilateral. But when you're doing bilateral, it's hidden and you don't really, it is affecting your movement, but you don't necessarily feel the difference. It just shifts to the other side. So when you actually are training both sides, and you're working more so with the weak side to help kind of bring it up, and then you can get stronger on both sides. but stronger in your core stability, movement pattern, and actually being able to get into good range, get into good position through that whole range, continue to load it through that, and not lean into a strong point. You have to train the weaker side, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm kind of freezing, so if you want to add something.
If you're doing regular split squats and not feeling it, you can elevate it. So a lot of people do like a rear foot elevated or a Bulgarian split squat. And I would probably start, honestly, with a front foot elevated split squat. So you're standing on like a plate or 2 plates and doing just a split squat, because that will increase the range of motion and then increase the likelihood that you'll get a stretch, maybe feel something in your glute. And I would start with a split squat versus like a reverse lunge.
Yeah. Something
versus,
you're in one position.
Yeah, static versus something dynamic.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll say about this is, I mean, I really remember you doing split squats or lunge or something like that. I think really got into it seriously like 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because like I said, when I started with him pushing me to do it, it was a lot of frustration. And I was still just very used to not really training that way. I enjoyed doing SBD and then a little bit of accessory work there, but I was not great at accessory work at this time of my life. It was not my priority. And if I would do it, it was just check the box, get it done. I wasn't really pushing myself with those. If I had a good squat, it was a good day, and then I would go finish up my accessories in a not very intentional way.
Yeah. But I remember even 2 years ago, you know, you would do a split squat and your glutes would be sore the next day, you know. And then you would do split squats the next week. You'd do them, maybe even the same weight, and you'd be sore again.
Yeah.
Do them the next week.
It didn't take much.
Do it the next week. Same weight, maybe slightly heavier, sore. You know, do it the next week, same weight, sore.
Yeah.
And so I think people underestimate how much time is needed to really create a lot of these changes to your, really the musculature. Adding muscle can take a long time. Getting stronger in a movement can take a long time. Usually my number, if you're consistently lifting to really put as much muscle on your frame as you can or to maximize your strength, it's like a 15-year endeavor of consistency. It takes a really, really long time. And I think that people, if you can get beyond the variety, and not needing it so much, just be more of a taskmaster, that you can see a lot of improvement. Because a lot of times when you switch up your workouts and you do maybe some strength training like this, you do your split squats, lunges, and then you're like, okay, like I'm tired of this, I want to go do something else. And then you go do like, I don't know, Zumba or like Pilates or
even strength training, but just keep switching up the movements. Yeah,
you're like, I'm tired of split squats, you know. You can come back to it, and now you're going to be, if you're not giving that signal to your muscle to keep growing, your brain doesn't really value what you just did. It kind of considers it just kind of like a temporary thing. So it doesn't build any real structure, anything that's going to last. But if you were to do something for years at a time, now you're convincing your brain that this thing is here to stay, and you need to build structure, build muscle.
To support this.
Yeah, and you need to like keep it there forever, because this is something that is coming up in your life all the time. So I would say, you know, you're 2 to 3 years of like not really changing the movement that much.
No, not at all.
Just kind of doing a couple variations, few variations of it, and you're still sore.
Yeah, it's been really enjoyable to see that progress, but like he was saying, that there were so many weeks of the same weight and still getting sore. I think that's a point of, it's hard maybe when this is still new to realize that that is still progress, because when we think of looking for progress in the gym or looking for those little wins, we might think we did an extra rep or we did another set or we put more weight on the bar, and those are all forms of, you know, progressive overload over time. But sometimes it is doing the exact same reps, the same sets, the same weight, and executing better each time, and stacking those days of practice so that the win is you're still getting sore from that, it's still effective, and that is evidence that it's still working too. So that can be the sign. Once you start to realize I'm doing the same thing, not really feeling sore the next day, the effort feels easier, then you can start to go up in weight. But sometimes we like to jump ahead a little bit too fast before our body is actually like, I'm doing well, I'm doing these really well. So I think maybe a weird part of this, I feel like it is true too, but I think especially with the single leg RDL, but unilateral movement in general, if you're like me where you were mostly doing bilateral things, or this is just new, I think you mentally don't trust your body enough yet to get into that movement efficiently. So almost like a nervous system, and that's part of the weakness side of it too, but your body wants to just protect, and so you're not able to really get into that access point that you want and that you maybe hear people talking about or see people doing. And you have to build that confidence with yourself, and your body actually has to build the confidence that you can do these movements. So I think that is a part of it. Just really leaning into practicing it and feeling confident with the movement enough to push it and load it, and everything around it, like he said, being supportive. So core is not an issue with, you know, I feel so strong in that position now because my core is stronger there. So that is not a hindering factor. My back is not taking over. Everything is working the way it should be working, but that has taken so much time. And then on another side of this that is less of like, this has been so much time, another thing I have been trying recently is a little bit of a different position specifically for the split squat. So if you're in a very upright position, you are going to still be targeting the quad a little bit more. You are working on the glute when you're, you know, pushing through the floor to get back up. But if you're leaning forward a little bit, you can also access, you're into that hinge a little bit more, so you can access the glute a little bit better. And I have felt that also. So I've been enjoying just that small position change of the split squat, and that's been fun to, you know, like he said, I've been doing it for so many weeks now. I really haven't changed it much or taken it out. It has changed a little bit, maybe in rep wise, but it's been with the same purpose of let's get strong here. It's never been, all right, let's just finish the workout and burn out in a split squat. It has been very intentional, very focused on getting strong, bringing a lot of focus through every rep. So I know I keep saying a squat, but that when I would do that, the thought was always, I'm braced, I'm ready, I'm focused, it's going to be a really solid rep. But now bringing that into every movement, not just the split squat, but any kind of movement, there is always focus and intention. So I'm always braced, I'm always prepared and ready for that single rep. And it has also changed, again, with every movement, but just feeling the access better, the execution better, and that starting to become a win.
I've got an analogy for you.
Okay.
The split squat, you know, doing it often and signaling to your body that, you know, you should build muscle, you know, build muscle in your glutes, build muscle in your legs. It needs consistency. It needs to be frequent enough, so it can't be, you know, too spaced too far out. It has to be relatively frequent, and you know, has to be done for a long time. Consistent, frequent, over a long time. to really convince your brain that it needs to keep that muscle. It needs to commit to building structure to support this movement. Mm-hmm. So when Cayt and I first started dating, if I were to just say the first month or so, I would buy her flowers and give her chocolates, and I didn't actually do that, but
No.
But if I were to do that,
if I were,
she may think that he loves me, and so if I did all of the things that showed that I loved her, and it was a signal, that I loved her, and I did that for a month, and then I just stopped doing those things, Cayt would probably say, he doesn't love me. I'm definitely not going to commit to this guy who just, for a month he, was all, he was all great and he showed me that he loved me, but then, cold turkey, he just stopped and nothing. He just doesn't do anything. He just, he comes in and he grunts at me, and then, he goes and sits on the couch and he doesn't even pay attention to me, That's not a consistent signal. It doesn't convince her that she needs to, or she would even want to commit to the idea that I love her. So it's years and years of showing and saying that I love her, that she actually would know that I love her. And let's say if after 10 years or 15 years of, showing and saying that I love you, if something were to change, that I started acting differently or whatever, your first thought wouldn't be, he doesn't love me anymore. It would be something else like, oh, he's stressed, or blah, 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 blah. So it takes time for you to build up the idea in our marriage that, he loves me. Even if he starts acting differently, I still think he loves me. Mm-hmm. Just like if you do the split squats, you build that muscle. That muscle just doesn't go away if you've built it up over years. It's kind of there.
Yeah.
Just like
you can have an off week or a few off.
Right. You can
an off block.
Once you built the structure, built the foundation, it's there.
Yeah.
But you have to take a lot of time to build it. Just like after 10 to 15 years of marriage, I would assume that there's a foundation of trust, of love, and something that if something changes, your first thought isn't he doesn't love me anymore. It's kind of like okay,
all of the stacked evidence.
Yeah, there's a lot of evidence. There's been a clear signal for years and years and years, so that's probably not something that's changed. It's probably something else.
Yeah.
So that's basically,
that's a good analogy.
Thank you. That's training.
Yeah.
That's anything we do.
That's our style of training. If you've been around, you know that we like to, we are not much for variety. We like to really push the same things, get good at those things, and see wins in lots of different ways. And it depends on where you are in your journey of this, the baby wins.
You can do different stuff, but just don't expect to get good at something if you do it once every few months.
Yeah. It takes time.
You can have variety. You just probably won't be good at it. That's for anything. It's like if one day I'm like, I really want to get good at origami. And then I practice a little bit and I'm like, this is dumb. And then I quit. And then I come back to it and I'm like, what? I'm not good at it anymore?
Yeah.
What the heck? I haven't done it for months.
And then you switcch to your theme of guitar last week.
Yeah, and then I started playing the guitar.
And then come back.
Started playing guitar. I'm like, I forget how to do this completely. What? I did it for a month. I thought I would just remember how to do it forever.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, that could be a topic for another day. Variety, even in your fitness, the variety of style, there's good in that. If you want to be fit, want to be healthy, want to move, there's lots of good in that. But in terms of being good at a skill, it takes time.
Yeah. Just accept that your proficiency is going to be 50, 60% of what it could be. Maybe lower, maybe higher. I don't know.
And we obviously really love strength training, so.
And we like being good at stuff.
Yeah. Well,
We're about 18 minutes
I hope
in.
that kind of made sense. Steph, you're killing it in the gym. You crush it. We've known each other for over 10 years now and met in the gym. You're still on my phone as Steph Trap Queen. So you're crushing it. So I hope it was a little nugget of helpful. And then I hope for anyone, wherever you are in your journey, I hope some of that was just helpful. Mostly leaning into being consistent. I mean, we harp on this all the time. Be consistent, but also match that consistency with intention. If you just keep showing up, it will stack to something. But at some point, there has to be a level of intensity, a level of good effort and intention. And when you do that repeatedly, when those two things are paired together, it's going to lead to good things, whether that's in the gym or in life. If there's something you want to be good at, show up consistently, keep those promises, and work hard while you're doing it with lots of focus. But yeah, if there's any other specific questions, because I'm kind of a rambler, I thought through some notes in this, and I could go multiple different ways with different unilateral movements, but that's also, do unilateral movements. You're going to feel so strong when you consistently do those. Split squat, all the kinds of lunges. Another favorite right now are lateral lunges and getting into that range of motion, which was so foreign a few years ago. Single leg RDLs. I was so quad dominant, and now again building that confidence that I can not just push back into my hips, but really access the glutes and not rely on my back and using the glutes. It's so rewarding, and that's such a fun win in the gym. So do unilateral movements.
Glutes.
Yeah.
My glutes. All right.
Thanks for joining for episode 2. We'll be back. Hope you have a great weekend, day, full week, all of the things.
Bye.